incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending, GERSAL for short. We'd like to thank all of you for coming in on time. This program is transmitting live on multiple networks, including Channel 1 television. Please smile because we're live on television. Tell your neighbor, smile, you're live on television and you are caught on camera. It's a 2-in-1 program. We're going to have the first part where we celebrate the 5th year of existence and achievements of GERSAL. This will be followed by the Rubber Value Chain Conference, all happening concurrently. I'd like to invite the board chair of GERSAL, Dr. Yao Ansu, who also happens to be the board chair of the Development Bank Ghana, to bring us a welcome address. He just stepped in, no time to prepare. Put your hands together for Dr. Yao Ansu to bring us the welcome address.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to each of you and thank you for joining us today to celebrate this special occasion, the 5th anniversary of GERSAL. I would like to extend a special welcome to the Honorable Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Amin Adam, and the Honorable Minister for Agriculture, if he's here, but to be later conveyed if he's not yet here. And also to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana and the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, and all the officials from the ministries and the Bank of Ghana that accompanied them. We are very honored by your presence. I would also like to extend a special welcome to our partner financial institutions, development partners, and all stakeholders here today. We are truly honored by your presence. While today marks the 5th anniversary of GERSAL's operation, the journey began much earlier. The initiative began in 2014 under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, led by Minister Fifi Kwete at that time. It was then further developed in collaboration with and under the auspices of the Bank of Ghana, which provided the seed capital until it was transferred to the Ministry of Finance in 2017. Eventually, in 2019, GERSAL commences operations under the oversight of the Ministry of Finance, led by the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, whose leadership and unwavering support were instrumental in shaping our initial successes. I'm pleased to say that this strong support has continued under the current minister, the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Thank you. Since 2019, GERSAL has consistently responded to the needs of our stakeholders by being innovative and introducing targeted offerings and interventions that address their specific requirements, while staying true to our key mandate, which is to de-risk agriculture and to encourage lending to the sector to enable it to lead in Ghana's economic transformation. We have forged key partnerships with organizations such as the Development Bank of Ghana and the National Banking College, among others, to create synergies that extend our impact, enhance our capacity, and enable us to achieve more effectively. These collaborations and support from other partners within the agricultural finance ecosystem has been critical in driving the results and impact we will highlight today. Today we celebrate the progress made during these 5 years, and we reflect not only on GERSAL's accomplishments, but also on the progress we have made together in advancing agricultural financing and enhancing agricultural lending support initiatives in Ghana. Over the past 5 years, GERSAL's Credit Guarantee Scheme has partnered with 35 financial institutions, providing guarantees that have facilitated over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis in agricultural loans to 137 agribusinesses across Ghana. As we mark this milestone, We celebrate not just the numbers, but the real impact of our work on the ground. Our work has impacted the lives of more than 67,000 farmers and agri-related workers, and supported the creation and sustenance of nearly 3,000 direct and indirect jobs. It has also resulted in agri-businesses generating over $25 million in export revenues. Additionally, there are real stories of agri-businesses that have been able to access the financing they need to grow their businesses, and communities that have benefited from increased economic activity. This is a true measure of GERSO's impact. There's so much to our story. Shortly, we will present a video highlighting GERSO's journey over the past 5 years, detailing our progress, evolution, and tangible impact on Ghana's agricultural sector. Today's event will also highlight the progress GERSO has made in partnership with financial institutions to increase lending in the rubber sector. Our efforts have resulted in joint financing arrangements, leading to the establishment of Ghana's first indigenously owned rubber processing company, with plans to replicate this success with 2 additional companies. The rubber sector presents tremendous potential for processing and export, offering a valuable opportunity for Ghana to earn foreign exchange. During the conference, we will explore these opportunities further and discuss how we can continue to enhance and capitalize on them. Before I conclude, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to my fellow GERSO board members. Mr. Albert Essien, please raise your hand. Mr. Tutu Ajari, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, and Mr. Godwin Anku. I'm not sure Godwin is here. Anyway, I'd like to thank them for their invaluable oversight, strategic direction, and governance. Their expertise and commitment have been crucial in guiding GERSO towards achieving its objectives. I would also like to extend special thanks to the Second Deputy Governor, Ms. Elsie Adu-Awati. Please. The Deputy Governor served on the GERSO board until quite recently. Her insight, support, and dedication has greatly shaped GERSO's vision and impact from the very beginning. Thank you so much. Thank you. And of course, behind the scenes, ably supported by the governor, who helps at all of this. Additionally, I want to acknowledge and thank the founding CEO of GERSO, Mr. Kwesi Kobo, please. For his strong leadership in guiding the organization during its first 5 years. His efforts ensured a smooth transition to a current management team led by Mr. Kwesi Dua, positioning GERSO for continued growth and success. Mr. Dua, please stand up for you to see the new face of GERSO. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable ministers and governor, once again, thank you for being here with us today and to celebrate with us as we mark this milestone. Together, we can build on the progress of the last 5 years and look forward to a future filled with even greater achievements. Please enjoy the rest of the event. I look forward to the insightful discussion that will follow. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together one more time for Dr. Yaw Ansu. Well, the program is in 2 parts, so he's also wearing 2 hats. He's the board chair for everything. So, and you've also taken over my job. Usually MCs introduce people for applause, but you've done that too. So it's good I took my check before we started. But we'd like to also acknowledge the 35 financial institutions, of which about 18 are banks. So if you're a bank partner, just raise your hand so we applaud you. Yeah, there are quite a number of them. Time permitting, would specifically mention your names. We also have some DFIs who have partnered us. If you're from a DFI, give us a wave. Development Finance Institution, just give us a wave wherever you are sat. We'll acknowledge you. All right, so AFDB, I see you there. Of course, DBG is a DFI. And of course, savings and loans companies as well. So this is not just the big banks. So if you're from a financial institution which is not a bank and you're here, please give us a wave so we applaud you as well. A lot of them are there. I have the list. I will go through as time permits. We'd like to now, as the chairman said, move quickly into a video documentary highlighting Gersal's impact over the past half decade. Please enjoy.
In 2014, the agricultural sector accounted for approximately 22% of Ghana's GDP, yet it received less than 4% of total bank lending. Additionally, Ghana faced a high import bill that included many agricultural-related commodities, some of which could be locally produced. One of the key reasons identified for this was insufficient financing to the sector, compounded by the perception that lending to agriculture is a high-risk venture. In response, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, collaborating with the Bank of Ghana and development partners like AGRA, took decisive action to address the issue.
In 2015 February, I had just been appointed the USAID Embedded Advisor to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture under the leadership of Honorable Fifi Kwete, the MP for at that time of Ketu. This was a collaboration between the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the Bank of Ghana. So a technical team was set up where I co-chaired with my colleague Mr. Thomas Essel from Bank of Ghana, and had members across Ministry of Food and Agriculture and Bank of Ghana. Some of the members from MOFA were Madam Angela Danson, Mr. Nikwe, Mr. Mali Aboka, Josephine Quavin, and then from Bank of Ghana we have Dr. Frank Pra, we have Lawrence Kuchano from Bank of Ghana. Later on we also got Ministry of Finance, also joined the team when we had to complete design. Then also around that time the president of AGRA had come to visit Ghana and cordial bilateral discussions with the president of the by Honorable Fifi Kwete. The president of AGRA had indicated that they were more than willing to support such an initiative, and that gave birth to Gersal.
Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending was established as a wholly owned entity of the Government of Ghana through the Ministry of Finance following its transfer from the Bank of Ghana, which had initially played a key role in its creation. Its establishment was supported by financial contributions from the Bank of Ghana and a $13.6 million seed funding from the Ministry of Finance obtained through a loan from the African Development Bank. Gersal was subsequently registered as a limited liability non-bank financial institution to offer innovative risk-sharing solutions and promote increased lending to the agricultural sector.
Gersal's mandate is centered around three key areas. Number one, reducing the risks involved in agricultural financing by developing strategies and measures that make the lending to agribusinesses less risky. Number two, stimulating increased lending to the agri sector by encouraging, incentivizing, and supporting the financial institutions to provide more loans and financial support to agribusinesses. And the third is to improve the lending environment for agriculture. And we do this by tackling the issues, by tackling the barriers and other obstacles that make the lending difficult or unattractive for financial institutions.
In the past 5 years of operation, Gersal has made significant progress in transforming Ghana's agricultural finance landscape through its credit risk guarantee scheme. The scheme offers credit risk guarantees to partner financial institutions covering up to 70% of the default risk on the principal of agribusiness loans.
Gersal's credit risk guarantee scheme provides the financial institutions with an added incentive and comfort to be able to lend to agribusinesses. This scheme makes it possible for banks to offer loans with better terms, better interest rates, extended loan tenors, and loan structures that better align with the borrower's operating cycles. The uptake of this scheme has been very encouraging. Currently, GESAL has signed on 35 financial institutions. This includes commercial banks, non-banking financial institutions, microfinance companies, and rural and community banks. We have recorded a year-on-year growth in the values of GESAL guaranteed loans since we began in 2019. Our partner banks have extended over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis in GESAL guarantee loans to more than 137 agribusinesses across Ghana. The impact of these loans goes far beyond these borrowers. These loans have indirectly financed and supported the livelihoods of over 28,000 outgrower farmers and farm-related workers who are connected to the borrowers. The loans have also directly and indirectly created and sustained almost 3,000 jobs in various agricultural value chains. We have also observed an average reduction in the interest rate margin by approximately 0.45% on the GESAL guaranteed loans, and we estimate that this has saved the borrowers at least 1.3 million Ghana cedis in interest payments. In addition to that, the beneficiary agribusinesses have generated export revenues in excess of $25 million in the last 5 years.
GERSAL provides technical advisory services to complement credit guarantees and enhance the overall effectiveness of agricultural lending. These services are designed to strengthen financial institutions' capacity in critical areas of agricultural lending, including loan application assessment, loan monitoring, and developing robust internal systems for lending and portfolio management.
During the inception of GESAL in 2019, it was noted that the apparent perception of agriculture as a risky sector to lend to by financial institutions was because most financial institutions do not have adequate knowledge and understanding of the sector. GESAL therefore developed a technical and advisory service pillar which seeks to build the capacity of our partner financial institutions.
We've partnered GESAL to, as a bank, myself, my deputy managing director, the credit team, some other senior staff, colleagues of the bank have benefited on a travel tour with GESAL. And the whole idea of this travel tour is for us as a bank to understand what others are doing in other jurisdictions.
The collaboration between Absa Bank and GESAL has helped in developing our staff. We are able to get our staff to get onto trainings which gives them insight into how agribusinesses run, how they start, how they operate, and over the years their life cycles, so that they are able to structure transactions that would meet their need.
As part of the information resources provided to complement its other services, GERSAL offers a web-based agriculture and agribusiness finance knowledge platform. This innovative platform supports financial institution staff by providing essential information resources, including 33 detailed agricultural commodity fact sheets, benchmark data, market trends, value chain insights, and other valuable information to aid in effective lending decisions. One such initiative is GERSAL's partnership with Rabobank, through which we are leveraging Rabobank's global experience in agriculture financing and GERSAL's local insights to streamline agricultural loan processes and improve the volume and quality of agricultural financing, better positioning financial institutions to serve Ghana's diverse agricultural sector.
Rabo International is Rabobank is the biggest agribusiness bank in Europe, and GESAL has partnered Rabobank to join this project of ours so that we set up an agribusiness unit.
GERSAL's Value Chain Development Initiative is part of the company's 5-year strategic plan to support and develop export-oriented value chains and increase local production of import substitutes. This initiative targets commodities such as chili pepper, cashew, rubber, rice, and poultry. It aims to boost foreign exchange earnings and promote value addition in non-traditional export commodities. Under the initiative, GERSL initiated a pilot project in 2023 using innovative shade net technology to cultivate bird's eye chili pepper, a high demand variety in the European Union. Shade net technology helps control growing conditions, reduce weather-related risks, and improve yield quality.
Our aim is that in the next 5 years, we should be producing about 300 hectares that can generate about $50 million into this country.
In 2021, GERSL launched the Excellence Award Scheme to recognize and celebrate the efforts of financial institutions and other agricultural lending support service providers for their contributions to increasing lending to the agriculture sector. Several banks, including Fidelity Bank, ABSA, CBG, GCB, EcoBank, and Advanced Savings and Loans, as well as training facilitators in agricultural finance, have been recognized for their contributions over the years. While GERSL primarily works with banks, its ultimate impact is on agribusinesses by facilitating access to essential capital and deriving lending across all value chains. GERSL also provides technical assistance to ensure agribusinesses effectively use loan facilities for expansion and adopting new technologies, offering ongoing monitoring and recommendations to support sustainable growth.
Omar Darwin in your first facility, that was 3 years ago. Last year, I started coming for another facility. And this, when they education cry, Omar Darwin in a brand new tractor. And a high tractor, one can be a plow, 600 cities. And then all other ones say, a brand new tractor, almost with Absa Daruma. It's a brand new tractor. I mean, it's expanding business, you know. Yeah, but from up to 25 acres, say, I rise back to 80 acres.
I've benefited from GERSL a lot. If I should mention everything, apart from the guarantee scheme, they give us a lot of advice, not only at the production level, they even follow us to the farm level, tell us certain things to advise us on certain things to do on the farm, which have actually improved what we are doing already. And also when we come to the processing itself, the type of documentations that they recommend that we do, it helps us to monitor our production better than we were doing before.
And ADB facility we are not going so. And now on money who say GERSL bet me to 50% of the interest rate as almost subsidized at their money. If you know, Oma Boapa is say, Busum Bia Nevi here, technical team no, Eba, is say, Oma Koye partnership, Amaran's boot, John Baha.
We have a situation in Ghana where banks are unable to finance the agricultural risk simply because it's of a long-term nature. So between the commercial bank, which was CBG, and the development bank, which was giving us long-term financing, without GERSL, the puzzle would not have been completed. So GERSL came in with deep knowledge of agriculture and agricultural financing, and that gave them the confidence to put in the guarantee. And effectively, the development bank was able to provide a long-term financing, onward lending to CBG, which was our lender in this transaction. So without GERSL, the puzzle would not have been complete. We could not have accessed the funds.
GERSL's commitment to strengthening Ghana's agricultural sector is reflected in its strategic partnerships, particularly with the Development Bank Ghana. This collaboration aims to boost lending to agribusinesses, advancing Ghana's objectives of food security, import substitution, and increased foreign exchange earnings by providing much-needed patient capital for the sector.
The real impact as a development bank is the success of the projects. So any project that we are embarking on, that GERSL gives us the comfort that it will be successful. It gives us the confidence to enter into that project knowing that our funds will be put to good use and the impact that we will make will actually be significant. So this is our first rise value chain. I must say that had it not been the support of GERSL that is given to all of us in the value chain, or all the stakeholders in the process, it will probably not have materialized. In the next 5 years, I expect GERSL's guarantee scheme to evolve. I expect it to be able to target the higher risk projects and large-scale initiatives within specific value chains. This type of shift will allow us to concentrate our resources on areas where our intervention is needed the most. Because as financial institutions deepen their understanding of the agri sector, their confidence will grow, their appetite for lending will also grow, and their needs for credit guarantees may reduce. As a result, I believe that GESA will then focus more on delivering specialized technical services that leverage the expertise that we have.
I guess the spontaneity of the applause suggests everything is understood. Let's put hands together one more time for the team. And you know, sometimes when you do events like these, the company will come and give long speeches, but this explains everything and we all got it, so well done. We're going to hear from three very important stakeholders for GERSL. The first will be the Ministry for Food and Agriculture, here represented by the Chief Director representing the Minister. That will be followed by one of the parents of GERSL, the Bank of Ghana, and then the Ministry of Finance. So we hear from those three before we get into the more important issue of cutting the cake and eating it. So for now, I'd like to invite Mr. Paul Siame, who's the Chief Director for Ministry of Finance, to bring us greetings. Sorry, Ministry of... I'm speaking prophetically. Let's welcome Mr. Paul Siame, Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Food and Agriculture.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Bernard, for the introduction. The Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture is scheduled for a trip outside. It's organized, so he's requested I represent him to deliver this short message on the occasion of GESA's 5th anniversary. The chairman, Dr. Yao Ansu, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Governor, Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, distinguished guests, the board, management and staff of GESA, partners in the agribusiness sector, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture is honored to join you, led by the Minister for Food and Agriculture, and he's requested, as I indicated, requested me to read this speech on his behalf. As we celebrate this occasion, GESA's 5th anniversary, under the theme, Cultivating Growth, 5 years of empowering Ghana's agriculture through innovative finance and technical support. This theme perfectly captures the transformative journey GESA has embarked on, leveraging innovative financing arrangement with technical support to advance Ghana's agriculture. Over the past 5 years, GESA has been instrumental in empowering farmers and other agribusiness by addressing the critical issue of underfunding, thus enhancing productivity and driving sustainable growth in the agricultural space. I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizers for inviting me to this important event and providing the opportunity to contribute to this discussion for the future of agricultural financing in Ghana. As was indicated by the chairman, Dr. Yao Ansu, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana then, that's in 2014, initiated consultations with key stakeholders to tackle the persistent challenge of underfunding in agriculture. This shared vision between MOFA, the Bank of Ghana, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade and Industry, as well as financial institutions and other agribusiness led to the establishment of GESA GESA. Since the inception, GESA has proven to be a game changer by offering risk-sharing mechanisms. GESA has significantly reduced the risk associated with agricultural lending and thereby enabling financial institutions to extend much-needed credit to the sector with comfort. As a result, we have not only increased funding to agriculture, but also have demonstrated the sector's profitability and immense potential for growth. As we all know, agriculture remains the backbone of Ghana's economy, providing livelihoods for nearly half of our population and contributing significantly to our GDP. Yet, access to finance continues to be one of the most significant obstacles for actors in the space. The establishment of GESA marked a decisive step in addressing the challenge. By facilitating lending through innovative risk-sharing mechanisms, GESA has helped unlock investment in key agricultural value chains, including rice, maize, soybean, poultry, rubber, and cassava. This intervention has strengthened food security, increased production, contributed to exports, and ultimately fostered economic growth. As we celebrate GESA's achievement, we must also remain mindful of the ongoing challenges, particularly in the exposed by climate change, such as the recent near-drought situation we experience in parts of the country. It is imperative that we continue working together to develop sustainable solutions that mitigate this risk and ensure resilience of agricultural financing. Financial institutions must remain proactive in lending to agribusinesses, taking full advantage of GESA's risk-sharing guarantees. I also urge agribusiness to utilize the financial support effectively to boost productivity and enhance competitiveness in both domestic and international markets. The rubber value chain, in particular, holds tremendous promise for diversification and sustainable in Ghana's agricultural sector. As we work to develop this sector, we must prioritize innovation, sustainability, and ensure that benefits are shared equitably across the value chain. That's the smallholder farmer and from industry players to consumers. In conclusion, let us recognize GESA's pivotal role in driving growth in the agricultural sector and commit to building on its successes. By expanding financial inclusion and fostering innovation, we can also ensure Ghana's agricultural sector continues to thrive even in the face of future challenges. I extend my warmest, warmest greetings to the board, management, staff, and partners of GESA for this unwavering dedication and hard work. Your contributions have been very instrumental in empowering Ghana's agricultural sector and securing a more prosperous future for our nation. Let us continue to work together to build a resilient, sustainable, inclusive agricultural sector that benefits all Ghanaians. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul Siame. Please put your hands together for him again. We're still live here at the Marriott Hotel, bringing you coverage of the 5th anniversary of the Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending. Is there an organization with a longer name than that in Ghana? Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending. Almost, I don't know, it's a powerful organization. And they have a very powerful team. Later on, you'll meet the team. Before we cut the cake, I'll let you know who's been running this organization. The economy of Ghana runs on two legs, the monetary leg and the fiscal leg. We want to hear from the man who heads the monetary leg, who also happens to be the governor of the central bank. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome Dr. Ernest Addison to bring us greetings from the BOG.
Thank you very much, Bernard. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, the Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Achampon, here represented by the Chief Director of the Ministry, the Chairman of the Board of GESAL, Dr. Yao Ansu, and the members of the board, the country resident rep of the African Development Bank, Madame Jerusalem Fasika, who I worked very closely with when I was at the ADB, the FDB. Now the founding CEO of GESAL, Mr. Kwesi Kobo, my classmate at the only school in Ghana. The CEO of GESAL, Mr. Kwesi Duat, the CEO of the Development Bank, Mr. Kwame Duka, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me first extend my profound appreciation to the board and management of GESAL for the kind invitation to deliver brief remarks on GESAL's impact and the future of agricultural financing in Ghana. 5 years ago, the Bank of Ghana conceptualized and operationalized the Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending as an innovative strategy to drive agribusiness development in the economy. Since then, GESAL has made giant strides in providing credit risk guarantees and related services to financial institutions to boost agricultural lending. Today, we have gathered here to celebrate the 5th anniversary of GESAL under the theme, Cultivating Growth, 5 years of empowering Ghana's agriculture through innovative finance and technical support. Ladies and gentlemen, agricultural financing is a critical aspect of Ghana's development strategy due to the important role agriculture plays in the economy, particularly on employment and food security. From a macroeconomic perspective, agriculture contributes about 24% of GDP and employs an estimated 40% of the workforce. Development within the agricultural sector is critical for the economy, given the weight of food items in the consumer basket, which accounts for about 43.7%, and therefore a major driver of headline inflation in this country. It is also instructive to note that on average, food imports nearly account for 10% of total imports, translating to about 1.5 billion in terms of import values. The agricultural sector also holds a huge potential to help boost our country's foreign exchange reserves. First, as an import substitution strategy, sufficient food production locally will reduce the food import bill to preserve hard-earned foreign exchange reserves. Secondly, through the export promotion strategy, Ghana could become a major food exporter, which will improve the sector's foreign exchange earning capacity. Clearly, promoting a resilient and thriving agricultural sector will be transformational, with broader implications on the economy, including price stability. Having recognized the inherent potential of a strong agricultural sector and value chain, the Bank of Ghana was part of the team that set up this GERSAL as a holistic and integrated system of instruments to de-risk the agricultural sector and incentivize banks to lend to the sector to accelerate growth. The primary objective of GERSAL was to establish a credit guarantee scheme to leverage bank lending to agriculture, as well as address the imbalance between the significant contribution of the sector to GDP and the constrained security of bank credit to agriculture. Since its inception, GERSAL has made significant impact by leveraging various strategies and programs to de-risk agricultural financing, stimulated increased lending to the sector, and improved lending conditions around agricultural lending. And this is a good time, perhaps, to pause and commend the board and the management and staff for successfully operationalizing GERSAL. I think you need to clap for them. Let me briefly highlight some of these achievements. First, over the past 5 years, GERSAL has issued credit guarantees valued at over 604 million Ghana cedis to 17 financial institutions, covering up to 70% of credit default risks. Under the credit guarantee scheme, GERSAL has launched or channeled 1.8 billion of Ghana cedis worth of loans at relatively lower interest rates to about 137 agri-businesses located in 72 districts across 15 regions. In its operations, GERSAL recognized the untapped potential in the rubber sector and stepped in to facilitate the entry of indigenous processors. In doing so, GERSAL provided essential financing incentives to mitigate perceived risks, thereby inducing local participation and growth in the sector. Through this intervention, the rubber sector has created permanent employment, generating some 3.5 million Ghana cedis per year in income to rural households. GERSAL also empowered 451 local smallholder rubber farmers and service providers, contributing a total of 30 million Ghana cedis per annum to individuals numbering 12,616. These interventions in the rubber sector generated $8 million in export proceeds. GERSAL's technical and advisory services have also delivered training and capacity building programs to mid-level staff, executives, and board members of financial institutions. The direct technical support includes loan application assessments, loan facility restructuring and monitoring, strengthening of internal systems for agricultural lending, and the management of agricultural portfolios. These have been implemented by support from consultants and third-party organizations. GERSAL has also extended business advisory services to develop and manage projects for its clients. The feedback on the technical and advisory services has been positive and encouraging. Notwithstanding these achievements, the participants in the agricultural value chain continue to face challenges in accessing finance. First, interest rates on loans to actors in the agricultural value chain continue to be prohibitive due to the high perceptions of risk, combined with collateral requirements that are almost impossible to meet. The sector is also beset with risks that are beyond the control of actors in the value chain, requiring some form of insurance schemes, which may also be inaccessible in most cases. These risks manifest in the form of climate variability, which makes weather-dependent crop producers increasingly vulnerable, as well as market risks, which reflect fluctuations in crop prices and market demand, affecting the ability of the sectors to service their credit. On top of these risks, a low level of financial literacy affects the ability of actors to manage finances effectively, impacting their ability either to access credit or repay loans. Distinguished guests, in the face of these challenges, significant innovation will be required to revolutionize the agricultural financing landscape to expand access beyond the traditional financing sources. Financing models would have to be modified, expanded, and adapted to meet the peculiar needs of the sector. This would mean fully activating and adapting the digital finance and insurance pillars of GERSEL, which are two key strategic areas of focus undermining the GERSEL strategy. The digital finance services would leverage on mobile banking technologies and other digital platforms to enhance financial inclusion, while innovative insurance products would use mobile technologies to offer coverage for crop failure and adverse weather conditions. It would also mean expanding value chain financing by promoting the use of contract farming schemes, such as the warehouse receipt systems and outgrower schemes. Ladies and gentlemen, with climate change posing significant risks to agriculture, there is a growing interest in financing projects that enhance climate resilience. This includes funding for sustainable practices such as agroforestry and water-saving technologies. The rise of green bonds and sustainability-focused investment schemes means that there will be more opportunities for financing projects with positive environmental impacts. Investors are increasingly looking to support agriculture that aligns with sustainable and climate-friendly practices. On the global scale, the integration of global supply chains, trade agreements will also influence agricultural financing. Access to international markets can provide new opportunities for funding, but also introduces exposure to global market risks. International investors may increasingly seek opportunities in agricultural sectors in developing countries, which could lead to increased capital flows. However, this would require careful management of cross-border financial risks and regulations. Now let me turn to the issues of regulatory and policy changes where the Bank of Ghana has its main mandate. In particular, the government policies and support programs will have to continue to play a crucial role in agricultural financing. Subsidies, grants, and low-interest loans can provide significant support, particularly for farmers. Changes in regulatory frameworks, particularly those related to financial inclusion, environmental standards, and sustainability, could also impact financing. Lenders and investors will need to stay informed about regulations affecting agricultural practices and financing. In this regard, the Bank of Ghana in 2021 granted dispensation for the credit risk guarantee product of GERSEL to be given a zero risk weighting in the computation of the capital adequacy ratio for banks. This means that credit exposures of the partnering financial institutions secured by GERSEL's guarantee may receive a lower risk weighting in the computation of CAR, leading to a growth in lending to agriculture and agricultural business sectors. I am informed that banks have taken advantage of this initiative to advance credit to the sector. In addition, the credit risk guarantee of GERSO has been recognized as acceptable collateral for the computation of the single obligor limit under Section 6.2.9 of Act 930 in December 2022. This means that partnering financial institutions can use the credit risk guarantee of GERSO as eligible collateral to secure loans, making these financial exposures to the agricultural sector secured. I think you should clap for that also. In this regard, the single obligor limit of the partnering financial institutions will be extended to 25% instead of 10%. This has further allowed PFIs to expand their loan books on the back of lending to the agricultural sector. To conclude, distinguished guests, agricultural financing in Ghana is evolving with a mix of traditional and innovative approaches aimed at overcoming the sector's inherent challenges. The future of agricultural finance will likely hinge on continued reforms, technological advancements, and collaborative efforts between the government, the private sector, and international partners. These will be characterized by technological innovation, a focus on sustainability, evolving economic conditions, and changing social dynamics. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector will need to stay adaptive, leveraging new technologies and financial instruments to navigate an increasingly complex landscape. Balancing risk management with sustainable practices and tapping into diverse sources of capital will therefore be key to driving growth and resilience in the sector. As I conclude, I would like to extend my congratulations and that of the Bank of Ghana to GERSO ahead of the 5th anniversary celebration, which I hear we will be performing in a few minutes. As a founding shareholder, the Bank of Ghana pledges its strong support for GERSO's activities in anticipation that GERSO will continue to drive the policy discourse on agricultural financing and develop innovative solutions to boost productivity and growth in the agricultural sector. The bank is confident in the operations and long-term viability of GERSO, and we wish you great success as you work to become the catalyst for increased agricultural lending in Ghana. Thank you.
Wow, I think that was well delivered, full of energy. The governor doesn't usually make mistakes. The only factual error was the thing he said about the school. But we'll forgive him for the school, you know, because his school is older than all of us, our schools, you know. How a school can be older than a nation, I don't understand. But Infantifim School, wonderful. You know, success has many parents. Failure is an orphan. So everybody is jostling to be the parent. And usually you have two parents. So this is one of the parents, the BOG. I guess the other parents will also come and say a few things. The Ministry of Finance, also very eager. Let's put hands together for MP for Karaga, Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, to also bring us greetings from the ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture, represented by the Chief Director of the Ministry for Food and Agriculture, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, Deputy Governor, Board Chair and members of the Board of GERSO, management and staff, invited distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I join you today to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, GERSAL. This event marks a significant milestone in Ghana's agricultural finance landscape and demonstrates the growing impact of innovative financing in our agricultural sector. Like most developing economies, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy, providing livelihoods for millions of our people, ensuring food security and driving exports. However, one of the greatest challenges our farmers and agribusinesses face over the years has been access to affordable credit. The financial risk associated with agricultural lending has long been a barrier to growth, to innovation, and to sustainability. This is where the role of GERSAL has been truly transformative. Against that backdrop, we meet here today to celebrate GERSAL's achievements over the past 5 years. We also recognize the vital role of partner financial institutions working with GERSAL on this journey. These financial institutions have, through GERSAL's initiative, supported over 137 agribusinesses with loans exceeding 1.2 billion Ghana cedis and covering more than 20 value chains and positively impacting over 67,000 farmers across all the regions of our country. Notably, in 2021, the Fidelity Young Entrepreneurs Initiative, as part of GERSAL's special initiatives, allocated 10 million Ghana cedis to provide financial and non-financial resources to empower youth-led businesses. As part of this program, GERSAL's guarantee served as the main enabler for many targeted agribusinesses which benefited from the seed capital, given at a concessional rate of 10%, accompanied with flexible repayment terms. Overall, GERSAL have been able to contribute to the creation of nearly 3,000 jobs and generated over $25 million in export revenue. These accomplishments have been made possible through strong partnership with development partners such as the African Development Bank, with financial institutions and other stakeholders. I am particularly pleased to highlight the recent partnership between GERSAL and the Development Bank Ghana, which exemplifies our shared commitment to advancing agricultural development in Ghana. Together, GERSAL and DBG are facilitating deals in critical value chains, including rice, maize, soybean, poultry, and cassava. Additionally, this partnership focuses on building the capacity of financial institutions and SMEs involved in agriculture by providing partial credit guarantees to reduce lending risk and encourage more investment in the sector. In celebrating these achievements, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize the needs of the agricultural sector, and we will continue to work as a government to provide innovative solutions towards attaining food security and high productivity across the agricultural sector. For instance, the government through the Ministry of Finance has embarked on an affordable agricultural financing for Resilient Rural Development Project, which is an initiative funded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. This initiative will support over 10,000 smallholder farmers, focusing on women and youth, in addition to over 450 aggregators and 400 farmer-based organizations. The effort, as we call it, through its comprehensive training on sustainable agricultural practices and climate resilience, will benefit over 40,000 smallholder farmers in 12 districts and improve the nutritional status of 10,000 young mothers and adolescent girls in the northern part of our country. The SME Growth and Opportunity Program is another strategic government initiative designed to provide coordinated support for the growth and development of small and medium enterprises in Ghana. Recognizing the crucial role SMEs play in driving economic growth, job creation, and innovation, the program seeks to address the challenges that hinder their expansion. SMEs within the value chain of the agricultural sector can leverage the SME Go program to scale up their operations in a more resilient manner, thereby contributing to the strengthening of the economy. In addition to financial support, the program also offers capacity building initiatives, including training in business management, digital skills, and market research to help SMEs enhance their competitiveness. Taken together, I believe that these and other initiatives can complement GESEL to unlock the full potential of Ghana's SME sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the near drought condition we are experiencing in 6 regions of our country has exposed our vulnerability to food insecurity. This does not only dampen the economy by depressing growth, but is also inflationary as food prices escalate. To address the risk of drought, the Ministry of Finance last month purchased an insurance policy with the African Risk Capacity Limited to cover smallholder farmers in the northern region. And we will scale up this to cover many other regions in our country in the years ahead. So in line with the objective of GESEL, I would like to encourage you to consider other risk-sharing mechanisms, particularly in building the resilience of farmers against natural occurrences. In conclusion, I commend the GESEL Board of Directors and Management for their dedication and stewardship over the past 5 years, and for your leadership and vision, which has been crucial in guiding GESEL to this point. I encourage all financial institutions to continue working closely with GESEL, leveraging on its risk-sharing mechanisms to drive more investment into our vibrant agricultural sector. I also call on other stakeholders in this space to support GESEL in achieving its mandate of keeping our small and medium-scale agribusiness well-resourced to promote their enterprises and, above all, the economy. To our development partners, such as Africa Development Bank and Jerusalem, I've seen you here, I want to thank you for your support to GESEL and to many other institutions in Ghana. Together we can scale new heights and make Ghana's agriculture a more robust and sustainable growth engine. Congratulations to GESEL on this remarkable milestone. Dr. Ansu, I have worked with you for some time now, and I know the strong leadership you bring to the table. Together with your colleague board members, your management and staff, I am very confident that you will usher GESEL into the golden age of agricultural transformation. And I want to assure you that the Ministry of Finance will continue to support GESEL on this journey. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make us great and strong. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Wonderful. When Minister Amin starts coughing, it means he's very happy. So let's put hands together for you know. So we're still live here at the Marriott Hotel at the 5th anniversary celebration, launch, and the Rubber Value Chain Conference. And it's on the theme 5 years of empowering Ghana's agriculture through innovative finance and technical support. Now we're going to invite our key dignitaries to come up stage to do two things. They're going to launch the anniversary celebration and they're going to cut the cake. So Minister Amin, Governor Addison, Deputy Governor Elsie Awaji, Board Chair Dr. Ansu, CEO Kwesi Dua, and we'd like to invite Madame Jerusalem to join us as well. A Jerusalem Fasika. I've been asked to ask you to join the cake cutting. So we also like to ask Mr. Kwesi Krobo, our first CEO, to join the dignitaries. He's known affectionately as KK. So Mr. Kwesi Krobo, please join us. And I suspect they would line up behind the cake. Yes. So somebody has to declare the 5th anniversary launched. So CEO, you do that. All right. Please join the CEO. Minister Amin, please, we want you to face the cameras. Governor Addison, please face. Deputy Governor, Mr. Kwesi Krobo, yes. Wonderful. So we'll take a nice photograph. We'll give the mic to the CEO, Mr. Dua. Gives you him. He's a man in green. Mr. Kwesi Dua, you will say something to declare the anniversary, and then we'll take the photo. Give him the mic.
All right.
Let's pose for a picture for a front page of Daily Graphic. See you. Please. You have to join the pictures. This is going on Graphic front page tomorrow morning. Yes. So a nice group photograph for the Graphic front page and the BNFT as well. And then CEO will declare the anniversary launched, and then we'll cut the cake. All right.
So on behalf of the board of GESAL, our partners, our parent organizations, all those who have supported us, and also on behalf of all the financial institutions that we are working with, I hereby, together with the dignitaries on here with me, declare the GESAL's 5th celebration launch open and launched. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Please resume your seats. Please resume your seats. The program is not over. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. We'd like to ask our guests to resume their seats as we continue the program. Well, this is the second part of the program where we're segueing straight into the Rubber Value Chain Conference. And I'd like to identify our panel members. Mr. Kwesi Owusu, Director of NEWRABIZ. If you are here, please. Let's put hands together for Mr. Kwesi Owusu, Director of NEWRABIZ. Thank you. Perry Echampong, Corporate Affairs Manager for GREL, Ghana Grabber Estates Limited. Thank you, sir. Mr. Yawoting, Deputy CEO for Tree Crops Development Authority. Mr. Yawoting, where is he? Is Ms. Oting here? All right. Also, Mr. Nicholas Nikoi, Unit Head for ADB. Round of applause. Mr. Isaac Castro Bosomtri, Rubber Outgrowers and Agents Association. Thank you, sir. So this is going to be very simple. We're going to have a short video on the rubber value chain, followed by a presentation by our, I call it the CTA, Chief Technical Advisor, Mr. Techisraha, after which I would moderate a brief panel discussion. So I'd like to ask for your attention, if you can get the door shut, and then we would go into the short video outlining the value chain of rubber for us. Thank you very much.
The rubber sector is an important part of Ghana's economy, contributing significantly to export revenues. In 2022, exports of technically specified rubber, processed natural rubber meeting specific industrial quality standards, and natural rubber sheets generated around $131.3 million, according to the Ghana Export Promotion Authority.
Tree Crop Development Authority was set up by Act of Parliament. Government established this authority. The purpose of the authority, or the aim of government, was to improve about 6 tree crops. In the past, Ghana has depended on cocoa for more than a century. And you also know that cocoa can be grown in certain selected geographies, not everywhere in Ghana. But the government thought it wise that, looking at climate change, and then also illegal human activities like mining, lumbering, and all those things, we need to start looking at how we can expand other tree crops. Because geographies where we plant cocoa can no longer grow cocoa. So cocoa production is going down, down, down. So government realized that the number of tree crops that have been in the hands of private sector, they are cashew, coconut, rubber, shea, mango, oil palm. They've been in the hands of private sector. So government thought it wise, how can we expand this industry so that it can also bring in foreign exchange like cocoa. Cocoa gives us about $2.8 billion a year. So we think that these 6 tree crops, if we develop them, in the next 6 to 7 years, we can also rake in about $12 billion to support cocoa. So government aim was to set up this authority to do 2 things: regulate the industry and also develop the industry.
Ghana's natural rubber sector currently has 4 active processing factories across the western, central, and eastern regions. The largest, Ghana Rubber Estates Limited, operates 2 factories in the western region with a combined capacity of 20 tons per hour. Other processors include NEWRABIZ Limited, 1 ton per hour, Rubber Plantations Ghana Limited, 0.8 tons per hour, and Apex Rubber Processing, 1 ton per hour. A 5th factory, Yarik Company Limited, is set to commence operations with a capacity of 1 ton per hour. The Ghanaian rubber industry, initially led by state-owned companies, underwent a significant transformation with multinational ownership, recognizing the sector's untapped potential and the need for local processing capacity. GERSL stepped in to support indigenous processors. In 2020, GERSL facilitated the establishment of Ghana's first indigenous-owned natural rubber processing factory through GERSL's credit risk guarantees, technical assistance, and advisory services. GERSL enabled the establishment of NEWRABIZ Rubber Factory, a project financed by GCB Bank PLC. This project has been a resounding success, with the factory producing 8,500 metric tons of technically specified rubber for export between 2021 and 2023, generating over $10.8 million in turnover.
When we submitted our BP to GCB PLC, they looked at it and then they informed us that there is GESAL that can guarantee the loan for us. So if we could, as a company, meet the requirements of GESAL, then they would be comfortable to provide us with a loan. We then contacted GESAL. They did a lot of discussions with us, telephone, field visits, technical assistance, even to the extent that they tweeted our BP for us. And finally decided that we were going to guarantee 50% of the loan that GCB was going to give us. So when we got that green light from GESAL, GCB was more than happy to give us the loan.
Several key financial institutions have partnered with GESAL to expand their lending portfolios in the rubber industry. Banks such as Agricultural Development Bank, National Investment Bank, GCB Bank, CalBank, and others have leveraged GESAL's expertise and guarantees to finance various aspects of the rubber value chain in Ghana. This collaborative approach has significantly increased the availability of credit to rubber processors and exporters, driving growth across the sector.
An example of how our technical and advisory services have been successfully applied was how we supported a major commercial bank in structuring and financing a rubber processing business.
Narobix is a new-to-bank facility. We haven't done anything rubber, and it was very primary level. It was GESAL that opened our eyes into the transactions and the economic benefits that this will generate. It links us straight from the farm aspect to processing and then to export. In fact, the whole chain of the rubber industry was well understood with the help of GESAL. Today, we will confidently say Narobix is one of the key sort of transactions that we've done within the rubber sector, and that is yielding significant results. We think that if that model is taken on to the next rubber manufacturing or rubber plantation, our story will be different. So primary agriculture and rubber, with no exception, is a key area that we did not have much technical knowledge of. But the partnership we had with GESAL, we were able to onboard a new-to-bank customer like Narobix. Today, Narobix is doing very well, and it's because of the technical assistance and help we receive from GESAL to be able to take it to where it is today.
Wow, that was really nice. I was wondering what happened to GESAL when all the banks learn how to deal with the agriculture people directly. One of the things you can do is documentary production. You're very good at it. Put your hands together for the team. That was really nice. You know, if you hadn't read anything about this, by the time you watch, you get a clear sense of this. Now, before the panel, we're going to invite the Chief Technical Advisor, Mr. Techi Sraha, to give us some further insights into the rubber sector and GESAL's impact. Let's welcome Mr. Techi Sraha with a round of applause. Oh, guys, please, you can do better for him. One of the pioneers as well. Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed invited guests. Mr. Chairman, I would like to stand on the existing protocols. GESAL, as has been indicated, we support all priority agricultural commodities in this country. But on our 5th anniversary, we decided to select the rubber industry to showcase the potential of this value chain, and then look for solutions to improve this value chain to benefit the country in terms of revenue, the producers who are into the rubber industry, agribusiness, and also our financial institution partners. The kind of revenues that can be generated in this value chain is enormous. So that's the reason why we selected this value chain. The presentation before the discussion will look at the global market situation in the rubber industry, the Ghana rubber value chain, and also GESA's intervention in the last 5 years. So just to throw at you a few statistics. The global market is worth 16.5 million in 2022 in terms of natural rubber export. And it's expected that this market is going to grow up to 25 billion by 2032. I mean, considering the cumulative annual growth rate of 4%. But you can see that as a country, we are just having a small pie of this global multi-billion market. That is, we are doing just $135 million. In terms of the consumption or global market, where the global market resides, is within the Asia Pacific zone. And in this area, China, India, Thailand are the main consumers. And the demand is driven by the automobile and then the Thai industry. And over 70% of the rubber consumption is used in Thai manufacturing. I mean, the tires that we use in our vehicles. And the rest is found, it uses in healthcare, defense, building, construction sectors. In terms of where rubber is grown, it's found in the equatorial zone, in the Latin Americas, South Asia, South Pacific, and West and Central Africa. And major producing countries are Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and our own neighbor, Cote d'Ivoire. Just to throw out you some data with respect to who the major producers are, and also the exporters of natural rubber. And leading the league is Thailand in terms of production and also export, followed by Indonesia, Vietnam, and Cote d'Ivoire. Interestingly, we have the same conditions as Cote d'Ivoire. And if you look at the data, you realize that Vietnam produce less but export more. The explanation is that they import a lot of rubber into this country and also re-export, in addition to what they produce and utilize. And Ghana does not come within the top 10 producers. We are doing around 100,000 metric tons of natural rubber. With respect of imports, China is the leader in this league, followed by Malaysia, Vietnam. Though they produce a lot, Malaysia and Vietnam, they also import a lot of rubber for the manufacturing industry there. USA, other importers are USA, Japan, Germany, and Belgium. So, how is the Ghana situation looks like? Rubber, as you heard from the video earlier, grows in certain parts of this country. And these are parts of Ahaf region, Ashanti, Western North, Western region, Central, Eastern, and Eastern region. And you can see that most of the plantations are concentrated between three regions, Western, Central, and Eastern regions. And also, the currently about 6-7 processing companies are also located in this region, Western, Central, and Eastern regions. So, what production systems do we have in this country? You can identify three production systems. We have the nucleus plantations with farm size over 100 hectares, and these are usually owned by the big processing companies such as Ghana Rubber Estates, Rubber Plantation Ghana Limited, Nairobis, and the rest. The second production system is what we call the small agro schemes, with holdings between 4 hectares per farmer. And these are programs that the government of Ghana since 1995 supported with funding through Agence Française Développement, where smallholder farmers were provided funding to develop rubber plantations. And this funding, there were 5 phases of this funding since 1995. And it went to farmers in the Eastern, Central, and Western region. The last production system is what we call the self-financed agrowers, who are medium-sized operators with farm between 10 to 50 hectares, and even some expanded close to 100 hectares. And these are private farmers or individuals who invested in rubber plantations, and they sell to processors. So we try also to look at, in the decade between 2012 and then 2021, how has the evolution of our rubber plantation in terms of development has been. And you can see that there was significant increase in the plantation size from 26,000 hectares in 2012 to 62 hectares by 2021. But I must say that we still need to focus on plantation development, because if you look at the existing factories and their capacity, we need to scale up, or more investment is required in this sector, and I will encourage our financial institutions to look in this direction, to increase the area under cultivation in excess of 100,000 hectares or even 200,000 hectares to the level where our neighbors, Cote d'Ivoire, are currently. We also try to look at how the sector has performed in terms of export revenue. We say that there's potential in this sector. So how does the growth been? And you can see that between 2012 and 2022, export has increased from close to 60 million to currently 135 million US dollars. That comes directly into our economy. And if we are doing more, increasing the area under cultivation, our processing industries increasing their capacity, I think we have the potential to rake in revenues close to $1 billion, as Mr. Boateng from TDCA was speaking about in the video. So what are some of the sector challenges. I mean, the panel will deep dive into this. But we try to highlight a few challenges in the sector. And one of these is the fact that rubber is a tree crop that has a long gestation period, between 6 to 7 years before you start tapping. And as such, long-term financing to this sector has been very low. And it's because of the fact that our financial institutions don't have suitable or financial products and instruments that is targeted to the tree crops area. And we also encourage the financial institutions to take a second look at this sector and how we can provide long-term financing. Land-tenure issue is also a constraint towards expansion of plantation because of the complicated nature of our land-tenure system. On the global market, the industry experienced price volatility at a certain period of the year. And one other challenge is access to quality planting material by our farmers. It's due to the fact that the existing nurseries are very few and owned by the big plantations, established purposely for expanding their production. So there's also opportunity there to bring in private investors to be able to develop quality planting material for farm expansion. And climate variability is also identified as a challenge going into the future that need to be taken a look at. And more recently, there is this issue about export of raw capland, which is impacting on the business of our existing processing companies because it limits the availability of raw materials for their operations. So what are some of the sector opportunities? Value addition prospect in terms of secondary processing is one of the opportunities that is there, that as financial institutions we can also look at, where the current TSR can be processed further into rubber bands, car bushings, farm bed, etc. Then plantation development is an area that I'm stressing because we need to increase the area under cultivation to be able to generate the raw material that our factories with their current capacity require to operate. And also there are opportunities in adopting technology and innovative practices to improve farm productivity. So, over the last 5 years, what has been GESA's intervention in this area? And before, I would like to highlight between our independence up to today, what happened before GESA intervened in 2022. In 2020 in the rubber sector. I will just say that the government of Ghana, latter part of the 50s and early 60s, took a lead in development of the rubber industry by establishing, supporting the establishment of rubber plantations in the eastern and western regions. And through that, two companies were set up, Ghana Rubber Limited, that's Greer, and the rubber plantations in the eastern region. These companies operated developing plantation and also later adding processing to it. And then in the 90s, during the structural adjustment period, government divested its interest in these two companies. And GREL now, government is a minority shareholder in this company. And Rubber Plantation Ghana Limited was totally acquired by a private investor. However, from 1995 onwards, as I indicated, government supported the development of the plantations to be able to provide raw material for the existing two processing companies, and using funding from AFD through ADB Bank and then NIB, the agrowa production was developed, which is even currently, in terms of area, bigger than what the Nicholas plantations own. Then in 2020, GESA, together with its financial partner, Ghana Commercial Bank, supported the establishment of the first indigenous rubber plantation, which is Narobis, with first the technical assistance to the bank to be able to structure the facility, which led to the setup of the factory. During the same year, we also worked with National Development Bank, which were supporting agrowers in the eastern region, where we provided, through our credit guarantee cover, we provided funding for the maintenance of farms by these agrowers, over 1,200 agrowers in the eastern region. Fast track in 2022, Car Bank also approached us based on our success in establishing the first indigenous processing plant. Car Bank approached GESA, and the second factory was also established through our technical support and also our credit guarantee cover in the western region, which is also producing and exporting as we speak. And the same year, NIB, also working with NIB, we supported one of the existing processing factories to retool and expand their capacity. And as a result, this factory is producing more for export and also providing market for the rubber farmers in the eastern region. And in the same year, 2012, another significant activity happened when we worked with ADB, provided technical support to assist them design and structure a facility that help a church organization, one of the major churches in Ghana, the Anglican Church, the Anglican Diocese of Accra, who ventured into development of rubber plantation in the central region. And to date, we continue to provide technical assistance and also credit guarantee to our three partner financial institutions who are supporting the rubber sector. I would like to just show some numbers, impact numbers, using just the two indigenous companies, our support to the two indigenous companies, with a loan facility of 39 million, which we facilitated through these two partner banks, GCB and Car Bank, to establish these two factories. The last 2-3 years that they have operated, these two companies have brought in export revenue in excess of 18 million. These are indigenous companies, so we are sure that this money came into this economy. The $80 million were generated through the activities, and these two companies are providing market for over 1,000 rubber farmers in the Western region. And in terms of direct jobs, they've created 143 direct jobs in the community where they work, as well as over 1,800 indirect jobs. And in the local economy, with respect to purchase of the caplam, that's the raw material that they use to process the TSR, close to 150 million Ghana cedis have gone into this local economy in the Western region. In addition to all this, we've also embarked on a feasibility study to look at the potential value-added products that can be generated from the primary processed product, which is the TSR. And currently, we are undertaking this study to be able to identify this product. In addition to that, what are the funding mechanism and models are to be able to establish and manufacture the identified products. So this study is ongoing, but the initial findings indicate that Ghana imports many rubber products made from the natural rubber into this country. 11 products have been identified. I'm going around the local market, Abosoka and other areas. And this include car tires, engine seats, wipers, farm bushings, etc. And we currently undertaking, through the research, undertaking the technical viability analysis of how, if the producing these products is feasible. And then, based on the results, we will engage the stakeholders in the rubber value chain and discuss the way forward based on the result that come from these feasibility studies. So, in conclusion, before Bernard and his team take over, we're saying that there is a big market for natural rubber, which Ghana, as a country, we can tap into. We're talking about 25 billion by 2032. Ghana has the ideal growing conditions to cultivate the raw material to be able to tap into this market. And the one of the commodities that one commodity that offers potential returns for the producer. And I would say that if you invest in rubber plantation after the gestation period, which is 6-7 years, you are assured of 10 months of continuous revenue in a year. Unlike the other crops, 10 months you are assured of revenue. So if a bank financing production in this area, if the loan is structured very well, you are sure to get back the money invested. So there is potential benefit in terms of returns to the producer, agribusiness, the financial institutions, and also as a country in terms of the export revenues. And there are more opportunities for value addition. So, Bernard, during your discussion, I mean, we need some possible answers with respect to solutions to achieve the optimum potential of this agricultural commodity. Thank you very much.
You know, I think you can do better for him one more time. He's made my work very simple. I think the question for the panel is on the last but one slide. So just put it there. And I'm going to ask the panel members to just answer it, and I'll read out their answers, then we go home. Because I think the video was great. The presentation was even better. Our work is very simple. I don't want to keep you here for long. So let me call the panel members up quickly. We're just going to run through Mr. Kwesi Owusu, Director of NeuraBiz. We've seen them already. Put your hands together for Mr. Owusu. Thank you. Yeah. So you join me up here. Just pick a nice seat and be comfortable. Thank you. The corporate affairs manager for Grail, Perry Champong, is also here. Put your hands together for Mr. Champong. Yes, sir. And then I announced earlier, I don't know if the rep from the TCDA is here. Yao Oting, Tree Crops Development. Yes, sir. All right. Were you clapping for him? Okay, and also the unit head for ADB, Mr. Nicholas Nikoi. Not sure which unit. Is it the agribusiness unit? Okay, so you pick a seat there. And then last but not least, Mr. Isaac Castro Bosomche, rubber outgrowers and agents. You just come where I am. Please come here. Yes. All right. So I think the questions have been well set. I'm going to start by asking everybody to introduce themselves again so we know your mic is working. Then I'll go and take my seat and I'll ask you to answer the question that Techi set for all of us. Please, this is your mic. Can you move this a bit so we can see him? Wow. Panel is very diverse. All right. So we're going to ask each of you to tell us where in the rubber value chain you play. I think that's an important question. And how long you've been playing in that aspect of the value chain and whether you are enjoying life there or not. So where do I start from? Let me start from the middle. Yes. So is that Mr. Achampong? Yes. So you are from Grail. As for you, I've seen your plantations, so I know Grail. So tell us where in the value chain Grail plays, how long you guys have been in the value chain, and are you guys enjoying it or you are suffering? Are you happy or you are sad?
Okay, thank you so much, Ben. For Ghana Rubber Estate, we are involved in the production of the raw material, that is the caplum.
Is it on? It's very low.
Yeah. Is it better?
Give him sound from the back. All right. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I said for Ghana Rubber Estate, we are involved in the production of the raw material, that is the rubber caplums. So we are into plantation management, and we are also involved in the processing of the rubber into TSR.
So, and how long have you been in this business?
Grail has been in this business since the 1960s.
Wow. So are you enjoying life there or you are struggling?
Within the last 6 years, we've been struggling a lot. We're bleeding.
You are bleeding the last 6 years. Maybe that's why Gersa organized this, to stop the bleeding and help you to smile. Thank you. Let me come to Nurabiz. We had a bit of you in the video, Mr. Owusu. Yes, I wanted to know if you were still awake. Thank you, sir. Mr. Owusu. So Nurabiz, tell us where in the value chain you play, how long you've been playing in the value chain, and are you happy or sad?
Okay. Narubis, we also have plantations among the trade directors, and Narubis also process the caplums raw material into TSR 10. TSR means technically specified rubber, and we have been in existence since September 2021.
How is life?
Life is same as Perry said for Grail. It's been okay until we've had export of raw rubber. And this is a very serious national issue. So, and I'm happy that this is the first time, I want to state that this is the first time that I've been in the rubber industry for over 35 years that we've had a national platform like this.
Wow.
Yes, because we do not know about natural rubber. We are not talking about synthetic rubber, we are talking about natural rubber. When people say rubber, they say the plastic. No, that is coming from the petroleum industry. This is natural rubber, an eco-friendly product.
35 years in the industry. This is the first time we have a national program like this.
So I'm grateful to Gersa.
Put your hands together for Gersa. They are live on TV. They had the Minister of Finance and Governor here. I'm sure they are still watching because we are streaming online. So it's a good time for you. So today, say everything. Let me go to the outgrowers. Mr. Isaac Castro Bosomche, rubber outgrowers and agents. How long have you been in the industry? tell us a bit about your association, and are you guys happy or you're also bleeding like your two brothers have said?
I'm a rubber farmer.
Okay.
And leading the small agro units. Whether we are bleeding or we are comfortable, it is 50-50. Because we are concerned with the growth. The more our members get involved, the better for them. Because the agro unit brought a lot of financial impact on our members. And once there's stagnation, it means that financially they'll be affected as well. So it's 50-50.
It's 50-50?
Yes.
Wonderful. We'll make it 100-0 by end of the program. Put your hands together for him. Thank you. Let me come to Mr. Oteng, Tree Crops. I suspect these people have the problem, you have the solution, or you were created to solve their problem. How long has TCDA been in existence, and what role do you play in the rubber value chain? Thank you.
Okay, Bernard, good morning, everybody here. I stand on existing protocols. Tree Crops is the regulatory wing of 6 tree crops set by the regional leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And our mandate is basically to regulate and develop in a sustainable manner 6 tree crops, of which rubber is included. Cashew, shea, mango, oil palm, coconut, and rubber. And I must say, it was just set up as a policy, a direction creator and a regulator to ensure that all the value chains within the rubber industry are working in cohesion to achieve a common goal. So we regulate the producers, who are the farmers. We regulate the aggregators, who buy from the farm gate. We regulate the processors, of which narrow breaks, GREL, and all of them. And then also the exporters. We were set up by an Act of Parliament, Act 1010, 2019, for these activities that I've outlined. So far, it has been wonderful. We are sort of registering all the actors to be able to regulate them properly. We are done for cashew. We are just about completing for rubber, and we are starting for oil palm. We have been able to also, to date, establish producer price mechanisms for these 5 of the tree crops. It's only mango that we don't have a producer price mechanism yet. But we've done for cashew, we've done for rubber, we've done for oil palm, for which we announce rubber on a monthly basis so that there are no market distortions price-wise. I must say these are floor prices, the minimum price that we set. Yes, you can sell your product above, but we do not want to distort market dynamics. We want to ensure that the floor price is maintained, and that should inform all the trading activities we did across the value chain. So far, it has been wonderful. We've had serious cooperations with our value chain actors, and I know all the actors here because I interact with them on a daily basis. Okay, thank
Wonderful.
you.
Put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask whether you are happy or sad, but you look happy. I think you are happy, or you are.
Yes, of course. I've been a banker for a long time, and mine is to look at processing, which is a very core engine of growth for economic development. So for what I am doing, trying to ensure that we are processing majority of the tree crops, adding value before we export. It's very important. Just like for share, if you export a ton of share, raw share nuts, it's $300. If you add value to even share butter, you're looking around $2,500 to $3,000. So we are a proponent of value addition, which goes with job creation along the value chain. So yes, so far so good, yes.
This is great, thank you. So I see about 4 or 5, I see the production, those who plant, I see you can call them the processors, all right? And then we see the value addition people, and then the exporters. But the finance people, you are there for all the 4. Okay. So tell us a bit about your organization and your association with the rubber, and whether you are happy or sad. So, Mr. Nikwe.
Yes, thank you, Bernard. So, like you said, this is ADB. We've been in Ghana since 1965 till today, directly related to the rubber, or let me say we have 84 branches cut across all the 16 regions of Ghana. But directly related to rubber, we have been in the direct engagement since 1995 when it started. And in fact, we spearheaded the expansion of the rubber from the outgrower system. Out of the 5 phases that had been implemented, we have been engaged in 4 of them, phase 1, phase 2, phase 4, phase 5. We have supported about 6,145 outgrowers to cultivate over 21,000 hectares of rubber with an initial investment of about 39 million euros to bring it to today. So we have played a core part of it, and it's like Perry said, it looked good all along the years, but for about 6-7 years now, it's been a bit tough for the outgrowers because of regulatory issues and the side selling, and we are glad TCDA
is here.
Is in the picture.
Wonderful. Put your hands together for him. And now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have 3 rounds of questions, right? So the first round will focus on the problems. The second round will focus on the government intervention. And then the third one will focus on opportunities and prospects. Then we'll open the floor. So it's very simple. This is not rocket science. By the way, we have empty seats in front. The dignitaries some of them have left. So please come forward so we can see your face a bit closer. If you don't want to be caught off camera, if you want to be on TV, please come forward. So first round, what is the most important problem that needs to be addressed? And this is from everybody's perspective. So I'll start again with Grell. From where you sit, what is 1 or 2 of the most important issues that needs to be addressed right now? Because we are live on TV. The president is watching. Everybody's watching. What's the most important thing we need to do in rubber to solve that challenge?
Thank you, Ben. Currently, the most important thing we need to do is to regulate the export of raw capulums. You know, the export of raw capulums is killing the whole industry. And like Nee said, prior to 2016, we had sustained funding for the plantation development. That is the outgrower project, which was moving on smoothly to 2016, the last phase being phase 5. Then this was going on smoothly because the financial operator, that is the banks, ADB and NIB, through the processes, were able to ensure that the farmers repaid their loan. So it sustained. That is why right after a phase, the financiers come with another phase. Unfortunately, with the export of capulums, it disorganized the system. Say that the financiers are not able to ensure the repayment of the loan through the processes. So you have people just coming into the country, they buy the raw capulums, and that is it. So we are not able to trace them. The farmers just sell them to these people. So the banks. Okay.
Since not all of us are experts in the industry, you are talking about cap lumps. Yes. What is that?
The capulum is the latex. You know, the coagulated latex from the natural rubber tree. When you explore, you see the white liquid coming out. We coagulate, and that is the.
So it's coagulated. Yes. So when you go on a rubber tree, they put some cap under, and the thing drills, it comes into it. Yes. It's raw, and they export it raw.
They export it raw without processing. So what we do is that the processors, we process it into TSR, the technically specified rubber.
So if they export it raw, what does that do? Does it reduce the value, therefore you don't get enough money? I want to understand why that's a problem.
Well, definitely when they export it raw, there's no value addition to the product. And I think the chief technical
advisor
showed us a slide where we have the export revenue. These people exporting, we don't get the revenue back.
Okay. I need help on his mic. We need help. He's saying some very important things, but I can't hear him. So when they export it raw, no value is added. And what else is the problem you're saying?
No value is added. We also don't get the needed foreign
revenue because it's cheaper to export raw.
It's cheaper.
But who is exporting it raw? Because you produce.
We produce.
Who comes to export it raw?
We have a lot of foreigners, basically from Asia.
They come direct.
They come directly and they purchase the capulums from the farmers through third parties or middlemen. Some of them also go directly to the farm gate to purchase them. And as there's no regulation or no law banning that, they are free to export those things.
Right. To make it easy for us, let's assume there's 100 tons of rubber produced.
Mm-hmm.
Between the three stages of those who produce, you, the large guys, the middle people, and then the outgrowers, what percentage do you guys produce? Do you know? If there's 100 tons of rubber produced raw, I want to know the breakdown of who's producing, who's growing the rubber. Is it you, them, or other people?
No, majority of this is coming from the outgrower project.
So Castro?
Yeah, they have a majority.
So about 70%, 60%?
60-70% is coming from the
Castro.
outgrower.
What percent will Grail and the big guys do?
We having about 30%, 40%.
So the middle guys, so Castro, are you the one selling the raw cap lumps? Give him them. Because I want to know, because once you grow it, it belongs to you, right? So Castro, I'll come back to you. I just want to know, is it what he's saying, is it true? And this is true. Who is selling this to the Asians?
Yeah, some of our members are doing that, the outgrowers.
Oh.
Because they want to avoid paying the bank loan.
Oh.
Because per tripartite agreement, you need to send your products to GREL. And GREL will deduct 25% for loan repayment. So when this side selling business came in, to avoid paying the loan, they will not take the rubber to GREL.
Oh.
They will sell it outside GREL, and that's where these exporters also get their
so
product.
this is a moral problem and an enforcement problem. So you give a loan, and the arrangement is that in paying, GREL will act as the first officer. He will collect, and because he's experienced, 25% of the value goes into servicing the loan.
Yes.
And the Castro people say they don't like that.
Yes, that is the major challenge that has stalled the outgrower process for some time. I'm sure that if things were running the way it was before 2016, we would have had maybe phase 6, phase 7, or phase 8, and then expanded it. So the tripartite arrangement was that GREL, being the technical company, will support the farmers in terms of the growing of the crop. And then when it matures and they start tapping, GREL will also buy it from them.
Yeah.
And then when they buy it, we had supported them with a loan for the initial costs, the stumps, the fertilizer, and the part of the labor, so that when they start tapping from the 7th year onwards, portions of their production that is sent to GREL will be deducted to repay their loans, and then the rest is given to them. And once the repayment is going on, we had phase 1. It encouraged us to do phase 2. Phase 3, NIB came in. Phase 4, and then phase 5.
So it was working?
It was working.
So who came to spoil it?
It was working. I think one key item that probably triggered it was the drop of the international prices of rubber.
Okay.
And it went low. But like you're saying, the immoral aspect of it has affected the entire sector.
Wow.
Such that now it is good we are addressing this issue. And when we get it addressed, every financier, every bank wants an institution that the repayments can come.
We are still on round 1. I want to take Mr. Owusu's view.
Yeah.
What they are saying, is it true? And how does it affect you? Since you are the guy who's actually adding value to the thing for us, and they are selling it straight. So talk to us, Mr.
Yes, okay. So like Perry said for GREL, it's the same for narrow base. And I want to say that, for instance, in May, we produce only for 7 days. We process only for 7 days, whilst we had commitments.
Oh.
Now, I want to add this dimension. Sometimes we will say, oh, maybe we are not paying the right price for the local farmers. But what is happening is this. When you export a ton of rubber from Ghana to, let's say, Thailand or Malaysia, it gets there about $600 per metric ton. When in Thailand, a processor like ours, like Nairobi's, buys from the local market $800 per ton. So you see the difference. So what the processors they are doing is that they are buying from Africa, not only Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, and so they mix it, so they get, let's say, the unit cost for them is low. So they are able to stay in business. And I tell you, if they don't get rubber from Africa, they will collapse.
Wow.
The other thing too is that rubber, TSR rubber from Africa, whether Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Nigeria, is discounted on the world market.
Okay.
And so you could see the dynamics. Whilst they are getting cheap raw material from Africa, they are able to sell higher than us. And it's a discount of minimum of about $300 per metric ton. So it is not that processors in Ghana, we are not giving the fair price. Now TCD is a regulator, so they are giving the floor price every month. And we as processors, depending on what you want to buy, we compete amongst ourselves. So the point is also that most of these exporters are Chinese, Indians, and they are just
exploiting the loophole in the market.
Exactly, and they bring oil, rice, and they buy.
You know the funny thing, in June,
and the dollars don't come back.
In June, I was at an event for cashew people. Or was it cashew? And they said the same thing. Where's the cashew guy? So apparently, people come from Vietnam. Am I lying? They come from Vietnam, Thailand, and come and buy the thing raw, and they basically do the same thing. So it looks like it's a problem you are aware of. Yeah. But I just wanted to ask Castro a question. Is it that the loan term is too difficult for your members? Why are they selling the raw thing to the people instead of going through the process? Is it that the loan arrangement, the interest is too high? What's the problem?
I think that it's about morality.
Okay.
Because when we started this loan repayment, some even overpaid before the bank drawing their attention that they have overpaid their loans, because there was no any avenue you can sell your produce apart from sending it to GREL. So like Mr. Newquist said, it was systematic. People were devoted to pay. And more especially, you have no other avenue.
Okay.
Until this door was opened, where the morality issue came.
Okay.
Any farmer from phase 1 to phase 3 who was committed in paying the loan has paid the loan. But we have others who are vowed not to pay. So that's where the morality is. And I've told my members we have shut ourselves down, because no rubber farmer can say that this outgrower project didn't impact on his life. And now that there's stagnation, we have shut our foot down, because where is that poverty alleviation component of it? And that is where the pain is. We thought we wanted to dodge the bank, forgetting that it will affect us.
You are doing yourself.
We are doing
Good.
ourselves.
So for round 2, I'll start with Mr. Oting, because actually it goes straight. So you sit at TCDA, you've seen what is going on. Can you confirm that this is happening? Is it your job to stop it or somebody else?
Okay, Bernard. So basically, we are very fully aware. I'll say our first inception board meeting, we got challenges. All the value chain actors. I must say, our board is a 29-member board. 24 are private sector driven. We have farmers, we have exporters, processors, aggregators on our board. Just so that they will tell us firsthand the problems facing each of the 3 crops that is under our regulation. So we knew about this problem. So for a quick fix, what we decided was that the margins on the exported rubber is about 30%. So we're going to put a punitive tax of 25% straight on the export of raw caplam so that it is a disincentive to business. We engaged the Finance Committee of Parliament. Unfortunately, they said Ghana was zero rated for exports, and so we were turned down. That was a quick fix solution that we wanted to implement so that at least our rubber will stay in, we'll process it, add value before we export. Then we decided that no, if we still have to solve this problem, and we decided that we were going to register every actor, which we have done. We are registering all the producers who are the farmers, we are registering the processors, we are registering the exporters, and anybody who is an exporter must get a reference letter from a processor before they'll be allowed to yes. And then we have also engaged the port authorities, Ghana Ports and Harbors, and blah blah blah. We've sent letters that commencing I think 1st October, if they don't see the TCDA registration as a licensed exporter or a licensed processor, they are not going to be able to allow to export anything.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good. Look, I think he deserves a round of applause for making the thing so cogent. And for people like us who didn't know anything about rubber, we are learning a lot. This is really great. I wanted to go to the parliament side. Why didn't they agree to the 25% tax? Because it made sense to me, right? Is it that they didn't understand it?
You know, we engaged Finance Committee for a long time. They said, which I think personally, I mean, no pun intended, it's a long time when we're looking at the economic recovery programs 1 and 2 and the structure adjustment programs and all of that. We're looking at, putting Ghana there as a venue for foreign direct investments, and that's when we promulgated such things. I think Parliament should really look at it because these foreigners are exporting our raw materials for free.
Ooh.
Ghana, for instance, especially on the cashew side of business, we are producing about only 30,000 metric tons. Processing 30,000. We are producing around 300,000, 330,000 metric tons. But we get exports. Go and check from the Ghana Shippers Authority. 500,000 metric tons, about 600,000 being exported to our ports. But we know the production figures locally. That is not up to that amount. What is happening? You get people bringing cashew from Cote d'Ivoire and then exporting through our shores tax-free. Yes, so that's what and it's still going on. So I'm sure.
Is it possible to ban export of the cap lumps?
No, because of the zero free trade across ECOWAS free trade issues, and we have some bottlenecks which we are trying to work around to ensure that at least 80% of what is produced is processed for export. Yes.
Do we have the processing capacity to meet the production?
GREL has the store processing capacity. Narrowbakes, we have a few of the companies, Apex Ghana, RPG. Yes,
they can process the thing.
They can process. Like Mr. Usu was sorry.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Yes. Now we have even deficit. If we don't export 1 kg of rubber, we can process
everything in Ghana.
In Ghana, I want to say that with TCDA, the Act, we have the LI backing the Act, and Regulation 50 is very clear that everybody should be licensed, and not until the local processors can absorb all the raw material, nobody's allowed to export. So based on that, TCDA, the new regulator, is going to use regulatory 50 to make sure that.
So just to clear, if I'm a Vietnamese or Chinese and I want to export the cap lumps, I need you to stamp and say you've agreed for Bernard to do it, and I also need his certification. No, otherwise, I'm doing an illegal thing.
Yeah, you need TCDA.
I need him.
Yes, you should have a license to export. Now, the caveat here even is that if you own your own plantation, you can export. But So let's say you have 50 hectares of rubber. We are in the industry. We know that 50 hectares of rubber can give you, I'm just giving a figure, 2 tons. You can only export at 2 tons. And the regulation 50 is very clear that if we, the processors, we cannot absorb that 2 tons, then before they allow it to export. So now the onus lies on TCDA
so you have
to crack the whip.
Do you have a whip? Grell, what they are saying, is it correct?
Yes, but I disagree with my brother a bit on the issue of the ban.
Okay.
You see, we don't need to reinvent the wheels.
Mm.
When we saw the figures, we saw where Ivory Coast was, over 1 million tons a year. We are less than 100,000. In the same region, Ivory Coast has banned the export of raw caplums.
They have banned it?
They've banned the export of raw caplums.
Are they a member of WTO?
They're a member. You see,
so how can they ban and we can ban?
We cannot ban. So that's the issue for the regulator to tell us that we need to be able to take that bold decision, because Ben, what is happening, like Mr. Osu said, currently we have more processing capacity than the raw materials without export, and this processing capacity does not include all what is being installed now through GESA. Just 3 or 4 of us have a capacity this year to process more than 100,000 tons. Okay. But the available raw material, even if we should process everything here, we'll still have a shortfall of over 30,000 tons. So you have this shortfall already of 30,000 tons. Then you have export of raw carbon. So it increases.
So it's not that we are not producing enough. People are just exporting it. Let me take your comment. Then I need you to do something for me. But let's take Mr. Oting to just respond to that. Then I'll come to you.
Okay, Bernard, I get what he's saying, but we want, maybe Ivory Coast, I don't know, but we want to comply. The after head office is here. Yes, the after head office is here. And with all due respect, you know, we have Ghanaians who are also exporting to African countries for export revenue. And if they all decide that they're also going to ban our products from coming into their country, there's going to be a theft war. So we have to be we have to look at, curbing in-house.
The people don't agree with you.
No,
they don't agree with you.
We have Ghanaians also exporting to the Americas, to the EU market, and all of that. So we cannot just ban the export.
Hold on. You see, when we started, we asked what percentage of the production is Castro doing? He's doing 70. This guy is doing like 30. What percentage of those who are exporting these caplums are Ghanaians? Maybe they are Ghanaians fronting for other people.
Agree.
Possibly. And we've seen the fronting issue. So we need to, I'll come back to this point. I just wanted to ask you a question.
No, Bernard, 1 minute.
Okay.
Just one. So the registration activity which we have completed, we kept this.
Okay.
We have registered all the producers, we have registered the aggregators, the producers, and the exporters. And every registered exporter was on the back of an introduction from the processors.
So you think that registration is the solution?
Yes. So if they have caused the registration of an exporter by giving an introductory letter to somebody who didn't deserve it, then.
But you see, as a regulator, if you cannot enforce the law, it's just an advice. So do you have the tools? Because there's the port, there's the shipping.
Yes.
Do you have eyes in all those places?
So now it's going to be put on the Ghana Port GPHLI that without a TCDA certification, you cannot export any of the both technically.
But I know people can manufacture certifications and at the port miracles can take place.
You need GSA certification for certain products to export, and it's working fine.
So you're saying once that is done, they can't export?
I think they should cut down the illegal export by about almost 80%.
You are sure?
Yes, 100%.
Do you people believe it is?
They should do that.
Okay, we'll pause. I just want you guys
they should do that.
Comment on what you've heard. You are financing this and all this is happening, and yet you think there's opportunity there. Are you confident that his approach will solve it and open up for more opportunities as a financer?
Yes, I think that regulation is one of the key things that is needed and critical. But let me add that it is not just about regulation, but how well do you enforce that regulation to make it effective? That is key. And like it's talking about the certification, and I mean, you're raising issue about people faking some of this certification. Maybe it needs to be upgraded for a form of validation from the ports. For instance, if somebody produces a GRA certificate right now, a tax certificate, there's a way to validate whether that certificate is authentic or not. In the same way, TCDA should look at that so that wherever you are, if anybody presents anything, you can validate and be sure that this is from TCDA,
Wonderful.
for which reason it is genuine. But all these problems, and I'm saying that we have cocoa, for instance. There's strong regulation on cocoa. Much as there are problems in the cocoa industry, you don't see this kind of wholesale individual exports of cocoa by people, because the regulation is quite tight. I mean, you can't just match it. That is what we need TCDA to come up to, so that it will help address the issue. And once that is addressed, my problem is addressed.
Thank you. You want to comment?
Nikwe, just to talk to your cocoa point. Cocoa is because no individual, apart from government, can export cocoa. So you cannot go and buy cocoa. And cocoa, government has given Cocoa Board Cocoa Board holds the balance sheet to buy every ton of cocoa that's produced. We don't have the balance sheet. All the 60 crops that we are regulating are private sector driven. So that is the differentials here.
Very important.
Yes,
but go on.
It's still regulation. Here, TCDA are empowering the processes to be the sole buyers of this raw material. And if they also comply with what government has done for cocoa, it should work.
Do we need a law for that?
No, I think, yes.
So that the process, of course, I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Guys, let's pause. It's going well, but I need to hear from these guys too. We've done 2 rounds. I think we need to put our hands together for the panel. It's been amazing. The 3rd round is on opportunities, but I feel like we need to align. Yes, so let me I need mics, please. Please bring me mics. Tutu Ejare will speak. There's a guy from Olam Food Ingredients. He will share the cashew experience. KK. Oh, I need help. Somebody's coming. Give them mics for me. I need about 3 mics, yes. So, board members want to speak. Founding CEO wants to speak. Olam Food Ingredients, your advice is necessary. Where are the other hands? Yes, Tutu.
I have a couple of questions and maybe comments. The first one pertains to statements that have been made to say that capacity exceeds supply. So if capacity exceeds supply and you have an ally backing it, by default there should be no exports. And if you do not grant any export licenses, then you should kill the issue once and for all. Because if you make that statement that you're in compliance with the ally, then nobody can export. It has to be processed. Obviously, there's an issue of price, because you cannot lowball those who are selling. The second thing is that for those who are being given loans, who are then selling outside of the structure, why can't you enforce the loan as you would if I bought a house and I didn't pay the mortgage? So why is it a complaint and not, well, you came for the loan, you're supposed to pay me back. It doesn't matter where you sell it, as long as you pay me back my loan. And if you don't do that, you shouldn't have the asset. So I'm trying to understand why this is still an issue, and if this is a potential solution to that issue.
Thank you. So take note of the loan enforcement question and the price dimension. We'll come to the answer. Mr. KK.
All right. Thank you. Well, fortunately, I was one of the key people that led in developing the TCDA. And the spirit behind it was not to replicate Cocoa Board. Okay. But the spirit of that was to regulate and ensure that we got the best value out of it.
Okay.
So I'm at loss as to why TCDA, based on the act that I led on it, and based on the subsequent ally, cannot stop the ban of exports. I'm struggling, because the reality is that when the act came into place, 6 months after the act, all people in the value chain shall be registered. So the issue, you have the tools to register. Number 2, if I move between Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, it's a EU ELTS issue. But once it's moving to India, it's no more an outer issue. So in my view is that I think TCDA, my humble view, should go and look at this act again. The act that I led on it, and make sure that rubber is banned, because the potential for the rubber sector is enormous.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a bit sad that 3 years, 3 years after the promulgation of it, we are still grappling with the issue of exports of caplams. Thank you.
Thank you. Olam Fude. Oh, Puchas Gada. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Bernard, let me address 3 key issues.
Mr. Amankwa, Salif.
Amankwa Yusuf.
Yusuf Amankwa. I almost called you Salif Amankwa.
3 key issues on processing, production, and export.
Yes,
first, on the production. For us to go into production, one thing we need to all understand is that every industry, let me be specific to cashew, I don't know more about rubber, but to cashew. We are comparing Cote d'Ivoire and other places. Before Cote d'Ivoire became Cote d'Ivoire and started putting policies in place, they first of all made sure they grew the crop from, they were behind Ghana, but today they are almost 1 million ton crop. We are still between 200-300. So we are still at a premature stage to really put in policies. Putting in policies, stringent policies at this moment, will rather stifle growth of the crop. Why am I saying that? Competition leads to farmers enjoying. Let me just use this year as an example. Why have cashew prices moved to almost 14, 15 cedis to the farmer? It's because there was, at a point, there was a short crop speculation that moved the crop to that level. So I believe that Ghana, for us to move to any level, we still need maybe some 3-4 years or 5 years to increase production to a certain level for us to become giants in the industry. Then we can take certain calls. That is one on that side. On the part of processing, why are we not competitive to Vietnam and India? We are not competitive because cost of production here have been so high. My little economist tells me that if you want to set up a factory, set up close to proximity of raw material, isn't it? So if Ghana today, we are producing, and yet still we are not competitive in processing, what are the reasons? We need to investigate that. If we investigate that and we know what it is, then we can now be competitive to the other areas. Now the third one has to do with the export. See, every country, definitely as we export, we Ghanaians are beneficiaries of whatever export moves out of our land, if there is an export to it, isn't it? So along the borderlines, assuming today we say that we are restricting import of those commodities like from Ivory Coast, Burkina into our country, will we get the foreign reserves that we are talking of? Like my CEO said here, we are exporting almost 500,000. Yes, still our production is just around 250,000, isn't it? If we put a tax on it, definitely Ghana is going to gain. So I feel that it's a good environment that we need to take advantage of. Let's encourage them to bring in, we export, revenue comes in, and we are able to increase our crop. Yeah. Processing comes
Hold
in.
Hold on, I want to take you on your first point. You're saying that we should allow production to increase before we bring in the policies. Is it not the policy that stimulates the production? Because if the people are taking loans and they are not paying, how can they increase their production?
Okay, Bernard, if you give loan to a farmer and he's not getting competitive price, how can he be encouraged to go further into production?
Is the price not locked into the...
No.
So the price is outside the loan agreement?
Yes.
So the tutorial point on price is the issue. So it's a price issue.
Yeah, price is the motivation factor
to the
farmer. You understand? Let's put cocoa farmers today. People are cutting down trees of cocoa and other things because they've seen interest in galamsey that is yielding more for them, isn't it? 5-6 years back, the perception was that people were getting more in cashew than cocoa because prices moved to almost a competitive level, and cashew is just 3 months aggressive. You get your money, you are done. Cocoa will take 1 full year. You have to do weeding and other things. So people were cutting down cocoa trees and moving into cashew. Till galamsey took over and they moved to that area. So if the farmer gets competitive price, then all these things are solved.
But is it as simple as, because if somebody who has a lot of money from abroad can offer them a better price, how do we solve the price problem?
Can I say we're kind of straying from the central point? Let's stick with rubber. We're solving somebody else's problem. We'll do cashew another time.
Okay.
I know you know cashew, but let's just stick with rubber.
Good.
My point about price is that I'm a farmer. I borrow money. I'm supposed to pay it back.
Yeah.
Whether I sell to GREL or I sell to a third party should be irrelevant as long as I pay my loan back.
Yeah.
And if I don't pay my loan back, I should enforce the terms and conditions.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. And why isn't that being done if that is an issue around people selling to third parties? That's all.
Okay, the people who give out the loans will answer the second part of why you're not able to collect your money together with Grail. But let's take more points. I think Mr. ACN wanted to make a point. Okay, it is made. Okay. Mr.
Yeah. So,
COO.
Thank you very much. Mine is on the side selling. A solution came to my mind. I don't know if you have ever explored that. You know, in some sectors, when there is an issue of side selling, you try to control the harvesting. So let's take the tapping, for example. You have tappers who are trained and they work. Sometimes we have companies that control these tappers. So have you ever explored controlling that aspect of the operation where the bank will work with those companies to train the tappers and they tap? Thereby you can control whatever is produced from the farm. Have you ever explored that before?
So that's a logistical, please take note of that. I'll let you address it. I want to go for more questions. Please go to the center. There's a lady standing there. Any more hands? I just want to see gentleman also at the back. Send another mic to the back. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, I want to speak on the loan repayment issue. If you are a financial institution and you give out loans, monitoring is key. You need to put in more effort in order to bring back your cash. Now, let's say I'm an outgrower. I've taken a loan from the bank into my project. Now, when it's time for harvesting, me being the outgrower, I am supposed to look for a tapper. After tapping, I am the same person who is supposed to look for transport to transport it to Grail. If there is no monitoring, outside sell, because if I'm selling to an outsider, I would get higher price. One, higher price than what Grail is giving me, and two, I would not pay the loan. Now, Mr. Bosonche spoke about morality. The morality is there, but if the monitoring too is low, I would usually side sell rather than sending it to Grail.
Good. You didn't mention your name and your organization.
I'm Charity Agri from Best Point Savings and Loans.
Thank you. So we are making some headway. Somebody is letting the ball slip in the monitoring and loan collection. But let's take more comments and then we'll deal with that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Bernard. My name is Efri from Tree Crops.
Okay.
Bernard, my problem or my point has to do with multi-sectorial collaboration.
All right.
For instance, my deputy CEO mentioned that at the inception of TCDA, the management attempted to rate export of the raw commodity, but Parliament said no.
Yeah.
Export in Ghana is zero rated. So we lost out on that point. Number two, when he said we could not ban raw rubber, I saw a lot of murmuring. That is our wish, actually. I'm talking of from the point of view of TCD. But we are unable to do that because the first time we attempted that, we did not even get the support of the processors themselves. Oh. Some were for the ban, others were not. By the time they all agreed that we should go for the ban, other interested parties were also not in support. And then we come to the point of registration and licensing. Unfortunately for TCDA, our act says that where the aspect of the regulation where we already have entities doing that, we can't go and be doubling. For instance, we have standard boards ensuring standards. So TCDA cannot come out to the standard of what a cashew nut should be. We can only fall on standards authority to do that for us. That's one. And so if standard boards is not ready to collaborate with TCDA, then we lose out on that point too. At the moment, we have come out a license that says that before you are able to export, you need a license from TCDA. But the question is, TCDA is not the enforcer of the licensing regime at the port. The question is the port ready to support TCDA on this score? So the multi-sectorial collaboration is actually what is hampering TCDA's score. Let me give you the last example. Oil palm is one of our commodities. In Ghana, we have fried oil, King's oil, and about 2 others that is able to meet the consumption of the entire country, even though we don't have enough CPU. When I mention this, I'm talking of the crude palm oil that we import to complement what you have in Ghana. But for the process or the edible oil, which we call the processed oil or the fried oil in ordinary terms, we have the capacity to produce it. Unfortunately, Togo, which doesn't have an acre of palm plantation, is exporting or importing into Ghana a chunk of the oil we are currently consuming. Why? Because through the land port, you meet a few custom guys and it's so easy to deal with them. If you want to import through the port, that will be more expensive compared to the person producing in Ghana. So our producers in Ghana can actually compete with those from Asia when it comes to the edible oil. But they are not able to do so because those importing through the land are able to outsmart the tax system of the country, and so they are able to sell cheaper. This conversation went as far as to the presidency. The president issued a ban. So when we mentioned that we could not go the tangent of the ban and some were making those murmurings, I was just laughing. The oil palm one, the president himself issued a caveat that we should ban it. The ban has been established, but yet
people are still,
importers are still bringing in the oil. Wow. What is even the guarantee that if you ban raw rubber, it will still not be exported illegally out of the country? Sector collaboration is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Put your hands together for free. I like that. He's taking a bit of pressure off his deputy CEO. So when you go give him a raise. Wow. I mean, I'm surprised. In an hour and a half, so much insight into one. And if it wasn't for guests, I wouldn't even know rubber was this exciting. I thought rubber was such a boring commodity. I mean, it's great. Thank you. Please do more of this. We like it. Do more of this. We like it. So I'll take the last round of comments. Then I'll try and see if we can conclude with the panel. Any more comments? Wonderful. Okay. I think there are some important points that have been raised here on enforcement. I mean, if I come and take money from you for a house, you will find a way of collecting the money back. So why are you complaining that people who come for money to produce rubber are not paying? Obviously, there's something wrong. Please bring our mics back. KK has a lot to say about TCDA. He thinks that you have to enforce your law or go back to the LI. Some missing link there. And there's a price question that we haven't really addressed. So let me start with you. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Yes, so like she said, monitoring is key as far as such facilities is concerned. And that's the reason why for a bank like ADB with a huge portfolio in the rubber sector, we have a whole desk whose sole responsibility is to look at this. The initial challenge which we identified and then along the line trying to put things in place included distances that the farmers have to cross in order to bring the produce from a place like Wasai Kropong, Mansoa Menfi. You drive 3 or 4 hours even on the asphalt road that has been done and bring the produce to GREL. So as collaborators, it became necessary that GREL and the buyers would have to set up points of purchase so that it makes it easier for these sellers to supply their rubber in order for the payments to come. So that is just one of the steps that we're taking. I can tell you on authority that in the midst of these, those who wanted to pay, even in spite of these challenges, still committed and wanted to pay. There are some, unfortunately, that probably by their intention want to take advantage of this. So a number of things have been put in place to help improve the process. And this is just one of the things that I want to hear. So in terms of monitoring, the bank is very much on it. There are a team in place whose sole responsibility is to do that. But you see, if you have an outgrower who has determined not to pay, sometimes it will surprise you that they can go to their own farm at 2 a.m., remove all the capulums, and then sign it somewhere. And the industry players will tell you there are some of their plantations that those that belong to GREL and other places, by the time they get there, people have come to remove their capulums when they have not planted rubber. So it is not just about saying that monitoring. Yes, that is a critical aspect, and the bank is very committed to it. But when we have some unfortunate characters among the lot who are determined not to do it, it doesn't help the process. But I think that we are making progress.
So see, they are well taken. All right. Let me come to Grail. Your thoughts. Anything you want to respond to?
Yeah. To add to what Nee said, you know, before this menace of export started, the outgrower system in Ghana was perfect, and we had a lot of people learning into it. We had a system where we could trace every kg of rubber produced by all the processes. Because when you send your rubber to this factory, they can trace and say it's from this farm. So issues about theft did not exist. And that is why the banks were able to enforce the repayment of the loan. Now, once the export started, so you had people who have another channel to divert the rubber. And what we are saying is that it's brought the whole system has been put into mess. To resolve this issue, we first need to block that channel that it created. Then we begin to take stock of what has happened. How do we resolve this issue? You see, the export is not only affecting the production, that is the establishment of new farms, because you could see from what the chief technical advisor presented, you look from 2020, there's not been any other project. So you realize that the raw material base has stopped. Now we have GESA and other financial institutions trying to expand the processing capacity of Ghana. So what happens? And this processing capacity are also dependent on the same raw material. How does it monitor the rubber that is coming in? Because you say competition is good, but when you don't control the competition, because you have exporters taking the rubber away totally without going through any checks in the system. Now we also have a tripartite agreement which was signed between the banks, that is ADB, NIB, GREL, and the farmers. At that time we had one processor to take all this produce from the farmers to ensure the repayment. Now we have other processors on board, locally set up processing factories. They also need to tap into this raw material. What are we doing about it so that they can get access to this raw material, at the same time help with the repayment of the loan, which is critical for the industry. So I think we put a stop, or we try to at least even ban temporarily this export of raw caplums to put in the necessary measures to fix this problem. No form of monitoring will work once people can export them. And you see, the export of raw caplums is not like other. You can export through the land ports. It's difficult. I mean, where are you exporting it through? And we don't say, currently we don't have illegal exports. Every export is legal. Because, no, they declare it at the port.
Yeah.
What I don't know, my understanding is when you say something is illegal, you're going through the back door. Every export is declared 100% at the port. So there's nothing like illegal export of raw caplums. They are legal because we are not enforcing
the law.
Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Usu.
Yes, I want to take it from this perspective. You see, in our country, as far as rubber development is concerned, we've never had any regulation in the sector. And that is the bottom line. The reason why Ivory Coast is number 3 today is because they had an association called APROMAC, and it comprises of the processors, marketers, researchers, and all that. Even if you're a multinational there, you are part of APROMAC, and they regulated themselves. So, and then they subsidize the planting material, blah, blah, blah. That's why now Ivory Coast is able to produce 1.75 million tons of rubber. Now, when you come to Ghana, not until TCDA was established by an act of parliament, we're all swimming. Now, because TCDA has been established, and because you have to go through TCDA for a lot of things, and it's very clear that you must belong to an association. So now, today, we have Rubber Processors Association of Ghana. we have now even an umbrella body for rubber called ANRAG, Association of Natural Rubber Actors in Ghana. So we are evolving with TCDA coming in. And I want to say that, I mean, what has happened, all actors are at fault. But let's not go there. Let's move on. Now we are talking about loan recovery. RUPAC, that is the Producer Association, we will engage with the banks, and then we can foster ahead. So that's the way we have to go. We have ANRAG. Now ANRAG comprises of RUPAC, that's the processors, all the Farmers Association, ROA, NROA, and ASFRO. Now we have Association for the Next Crop Operators, they are coming. Even the traders, that is the agents who are the middlemen between the buyers, the Chinese and the farmers, are all being roped under ANRAG. And they have been registered by TCDA. So I can see that we are now on a certain pedestal that we are going to jump.
Wonderful.
Most of us, as actors, as the DCU or Tin said, are on the board of TCDA. So as a private person, as a businessman, profit is very key. So we are going to push TCDA and all that we are talking about. I believe that we will see the results. It's not too late. And so I want to assure bankers, everybody, that
opportunity exists.
Opportunity exists. And then to address the question of pricing, I want to come back to pricing. Yeah. You see, it's not that processors in Ghana, we are paying below the price, to farmers. The price is determined from the world market, and we are using the Singapore commodity market price. And in all jurisdictions, go to Cote d'Ivoire, everywhere, Nigeria, everywhere, that is the reference price. And then there is a discount. When I say a discount, the discount is for we take off the processing cost, and then the FOB price is paid to the farmers based on the exchange rate and all that. So it's a fair pricing. It's the same system that Cote d'Ivoire is also using. Now, I will say it again, that amongst the processors, we are even paying higher than the TCDA floor price. That's a fact. The other thing too is that those who are coming to buy, they are not buying for profit. They are not buying for profit. You delve into it, they have imported oil, rice, and all that, and they want the dollars back of the country. That's the bottom line. And in fact, for me, I'll say it's money laundering. Yes, you can go into it. We have done our research. That is what. So they want the dollars back. And I've told you that when you export rubber, 600 metric tons to Asia, they themselves in there, they are buying from the farmers at 800 metric. So we are cheap by $200. And then our rubber is also discounted on the world market, because you are coming from Africa and you are not producing more than the Asians, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia. So that is it. But you don't have a standard rubber. Maybe I'm talking too much, but let me explain a bit. You see, when you go to Thailand, they have standard Thailand rubber, STR. Indonesia, they have SIR, standard Indonesian rubber. Vietnam, Cambodia, they all have it. Africa, we don't, and we rely on this standard. But all is not lost. We can leverage on the back of Cote d'Ivoire. That is number 4, number 3 today. Producing 1.75 tons. The whole of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Gabon, all of us. And we can have standard African rubber. And that in itself, we can then get good prices on the world market. And that will then trickle down to our farmers. Thank you.
One put your hands together for him. Now, I just want to give Mr. Bosomtwe a few seconds, because as for you, you closed the program for us. So, Mr. Bosomtwe, any thoughts and any responses?
Yes, I think GESA is promoting and supporting more processes into the system. But let us also consider the production aspect. To be frank, if we don't develop that aspect, a time will come when these increased processes might not get the needed raw material to produce. In spite of the challenges of this loan repayment issue, we still need to look at how we can develop or grow the industry and produce more, like somebody suggested. So I think that as members of the TCDA board, it's an issue we need to vigorously address and see how we can also look at the production side while GESAL and other banks are helping the processes. I think otherwise, the difference in production and processing will hit us hard as the years go by. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give the last word. Yes, you can do that. The last word for the panel to Mr. Oting, Deputy CEO, who's taking a lot of fire, but you are surviving.
Anyway, Bernard, they say honest feedback is a gift from God.
Yeah.
Initially, we tried to ban the export of raw capellam. So we had most of the processes were in favor. We had a few pushback. Like my colleague said, normally for us to take these policies to cabinet and then to parliament for execution, we need full stakeholder engagement and full stakeholder buy-in. Like I said, honest feedback is a gift from God. I see majority of us here are in favor of banning. We are going to, from this meeting, see what we can do to satisfy our stakeholders who are main prime customers. Then I must say that we are not only regulators, we are also mandated to develop the tree crop subsector and Planting for Food and Jobs 1, started by Dr. Uswe Fiakoto, and PFJ2 being continued by Honorable Brani Champon, will be distributing early seedlings to all farmers within the rubber growing areas under a World Bank funded component 1 to 4 grant composite facility contracted by Parliament on our behalf. So let's prepare our lands in readiness to receive this. I remember when this authority was set up, the prime goal was that by the year 2030 we'll be able to export for all the 6 tree crops $1.5 billion in export revenue. Cashew is getting there, rubber is picking up, coconut is also doing well. We are hoping that by 2030 we'll be able to do that, get 1.5 billion in all the 6 tree crops as revenue earners for the government of Ghana. So let's prepare our lands to receive these early rubber seedlings ASAP, and let's continue to increase production and acreages under cultivation so that we can get the desired benefits for all and sundry. Like my colleague also said, we need the collaboration of all multi-agencies and government institutions, GSA, the Ghana Ports and Harbors and all of that, to be able to implement the LIs that we have promulgated and help us in the enforcement of same for a successful Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for them. Wow. We've been listening to Mr. Emmanuel Akwesi-Owusu, Managing Director of Narrow Breeze. We've been listening to Mr. Isaac Castro Bosomtwe, Chairman, Rubber Outgrowers and Agents, Perry Champong, Corporate Affairs Manager GREL, Nicholas Nikwe of ADB, and of course Mr. Yao Ting, Deputy of the Tree Crops. A round of applause for the panel. Guess how this is great. So I was summarizing what I learned. I think I got 6 power words, and I've created a mnemonic out of it. So pricing is very important. P, pricing, right? Whether somebody is selling below price or is selling to do money laundering, whatever, there's a pricing issue, there's a regulation issue. So that's the R. Interagency collaboration, big word from, is it a free? Thank you for that. M is monitoring or morality, right? There's a morality. We need to pray for the people in the outgrower community. So there's M, so pricing, regulation, interagency collaboration, monitoring, and of course morality. E is enforcement of the rules. And then the last word is S, standards. So primes. That's the. So if I'm going to write exam, the reason we do Chu and Po in Ghana, if I was going to write an exam on this thing, I'll just take PRIMES. I'll get A straight. Chu and Po. This is what secondary school precept teaches you. So, pricing. So if you want to remember 5 lessons from here: pricing, regulation, international collaboration, monitoring, morality, enforcement, and standards. We'll pass the exam. Let's welcome our CEO, Kwesi Dua, to give us closing remarks with a round of applause, please. Oh, please, let's go back to our seats. So please welcome our CEO from one Kwesi to another. You need to be born on Sunday to run GESAL.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think you agree with me that we made the right choice in selecting rubber as the topic for today. Am I right? I think the discussion has been very insightful, very interesting, and the takeaways have been excellent. Right. So I'll just summarize my remarks here just to say thanks. Just to say, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, colleagues and partners, as we come to the close of today's celebration, I'd like to take a moment to express our sincere thanks to all of you for joining us today. Thank you to our special guests, the Honorable Minister of Finance, the representative of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, for gracing us with their presence and their words. Today's event reminds us of what we can achieve through collaboration, what we can achieve through commitment and a shared purpose. It reminds us of the strength that we draw from partnerships. Partnerships that span government institutions, partnerships that span the private sector, development partners, financial institutions, and the agribusinesses that we are all seeking to serve. So I take this opportunity to recognize and thank the many partners that have contributed to our success so far. First of all, to our shareholder, the Ministry of Finance, and also to the Bank of Ghana and Ministry of Food and Agriculture. I say thank you for your foundational support and initiation and continuing to support this endeavor. The support and efforts of the past and present leadership of these institutions have been critical to our achievements. Secondly, I would like to thank our board of directors. Anytime I mention our board, I smile. To be honest, it's been an honor working with the board that we have now. It's a dynamic, responsive, and an excellent board, and I'm very happy to be working with them. So I say thank you to the board members. Thank you very much. I want to extend our gratitude on behalf of the staff and management of GESAL. Your strategic guidance, your leadership has been instrumental in navigating the challenges and helping us to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities and stay true to our mission. Your efforts have been the cornerstone of the success that we have achieved today. Please clap for our board. Also to our development partners, we've done so much with you. Thank you to the AFDB, thank you to AGRA, thank you to Development Bank Ghana, the game changer, and all the others that have trusted in our vision and have supported our initiatives. Thank you very much. Also to the 35 financial institutions that have embraced us as a reliable partner. I see a lot of our friends here, and thank you very much for coming today. And for working with us to deliver these effective agri financing solutions. Indeed, your partnership has been vital. We couldn't have done this without you. We look forward to working with you and to doing more in the future. And finally, to Team GESAL. Where are my people? Thank you very much, Team GESAL. There are 35 men and women who come to work every day with a passion and purpose. Sometimes we put fire behind them to get a passion, but it's all good. For those in the office managing operations, for those like Sami, Ernest, and the others who are out in the field crisscrossing Ghana every day, doing the monitoring and assessing the projects, I say thank you. For those of us who are working with the partners to help connect the dots and move things forward, thank you, Team Gesal, for all the hard work so far. As we move forward, I am very confident that our continuous combined efforts will drive even greater achievements. I'm very optimistic about this, and I mean that. We've already achieved so much, but you agree with me that there's a lot more we have to do. We've set a standard, so my appeal to you is work with us to exceed that standard and even do more. I'm truly excited about the possibilities ahead, and I'm grateful to all the partners that we work with. We are lucky to have you, and we're happy that you supported us on this journey. Let's keep working side by side to build a brighter, more prosperous future for Ghana's agri sector. So thank you very much once again for celebrating with us today, and I wish you a safe journey back and a pleasant rest of the day. Thank you.
And thank you for thanking us. So please, the program is over, but we have a lot of food still in the lobby. You can eat some and network. Hopefully, we'll see you for the 10th anniversary and other anniversaries afterwards. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.